24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Anytime you want it. Online and on demand. BirdKRadio.com. The power of women.
Well, hello, everybody. It's Margot Levette from Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. Welcome back. Another episode. Today, I am going to present to you a panel of ladies who are going to take you on their journey as far as I'm out of corporate. This is what my life is like. And I chose this subject because so many people say, man, Marco, I admire you for just quitting your job. Girl, after 26 years, you quit that job. But I don't want you to just hear my story. I have other ladies on here who bring a fabulous, fabulous journey to you. So in no particular order, let me introduce you to Miss Gemma Ramirez, who is coming to us from Spain. And I have April Mahoney, and I have Kenta C. Turner. So these ladies they've been in corporate, out of corporate, staggering amounts of time. So Gemma, why don't we start with you? I understand that you are a businesswoman, founder of Consciousness Academy. Will you take a moment and tell us a little bit about that, and how long have you been away from the corporate setting?
Yes, thank you very much, Margot. I'm Gemma Ramirez. I've been out of corporate for just over 2 years now, and now I'm working as an executive and leadership coach. I'm a trainer, an international speaker, and my vision is that everyone embraces conscious leadership, and everything I do is kind of around that. I'm the founder of the Consciousness Academy, where I aim to raise humanity's consciousness with my products and services. One of my main things is my coaching certification course, Coaching for Greatness, and another project I'm very proud of, and I'm sure you will love it, is called Woman 5.0, where we are working with women to create a movement to empower and create more conscious women who tap into the leadership potential as well.
Wow. We are definitely going to circle back and get more information on that, because here at Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation, it's all about women. When we reinvent ourselves, there is a powerhouse set of networking that can go on and make sure that process goes all the way. So I'll get back with you in a little bit, Miss Gemma. Thanks for being here with us. Kenta Turner, tell us, you are a transformational coach, and you say you are a double entrepreneur, and you have dealt with some trauma in your own past. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing, and how long have you, my lady, been out of corporate?
Yes, my name is Kenta C. Turner. I am a transformational coach and leadership consultant, career engineer. Have been out of corporate now about 9 months. So I'm fresh out this go round. Okay. Yes. So this time I'm intentionally out, whereas before, due to layoffs and things. And certainly this time, my company decided that they wanted to go to Chicago, but I didn't move to LA to move to Chicago. Okay. So this was the perfect segue for me to finally be able to serve people in my own way. And so that's what I'm doing. I launched my firm, The Freedom Factor, actually intentionally on International Women's Day. My primary audience is women in leadership. So I was very intentional about that. And essentially, listen, whatever it takes, let's get to freedom, okay? Whatever that looks like. We want women to be free and magnificent and just splendid in communities, in corporate spaces, in your homes, whatever it takes. And certainly one area that I am specializing in, not by choice, okay, but you mentioned the trauma. So I am a survivor of domestic violence, now divorced. So beyond that, but it took a lot, right? It took a plan, very strategic plan to get me out and get me to safety. And I've learned how to reclaim my life after trauma. So that's something that I share.
That's what
something
I'm
that I
talking
share.
about. And I was hoping I didn't want to be intrusive, but
Uh-huh.
I know that there are so many women who are coming out of that type of
Yes,
trauma. And
absolutely.
thank you for being transparent about that. See, that's
Yes.
why I love you women, because your backgrounds are so diverse, and we speak to so many incidents in life. Okay, I digress. I get excited. April Mahoney, my sister
Oh,
in the podcasting world. Welcome. Talk to me, please.
okay. All right. Thank you so much for having me,
Yes.
Margot. Thank you. We connected on Facebook, and I'm telling you, it's just blossomed into something phenomenal. So, who am I? I am a spoken word poet and author. I have self-published 3 books, and I have sold 10,000 copies of those books right out the trunk of my car. Because, baby, the hustle is real. Okay? I'm a trained orator and public speaker. And a dear friend of mine asked me to join him on his nationally syndicated radio shows. And I heard my voice, and I got the response of the crowd and the questions. I had arrived. I was just so happy. And so here I am 6.5 years later with On the Edge with April Mahoney on Blog Talk Radio. And I was sitting here thinking before the interview, honest to Bob, I cannot tell you how long I've been out of corporate America. Okay, God is really good. But you've got to have a plan. You got to have a plan, and you got to have a side hustle. But we'll talk about that later.
Oh,
But I really cannot remember. Now, I've got corporate checks, okay? But being a corporate employee, oh, girl, I can't tell you.
see, this is just fabulous. This is absolutely fabulous. We will circle on back around. But Kenta, let me know. It looks like you've been out of corporate just recently.
Yes.
What was your and this is the question for the rest of you ladies, what was your defining moment where you said, well, you told us about Chicago, but
Mm-hmm.
what happened inside of yourself so that you knew this is it? I am not looking back. This opportunity is mine and I'm taking it. Tell us about that.
Yes. So for me, I was tired of having someone else dangle my strings. Okay. I was tired of being a puppet. I was tired of having my happiness in terms of being able to serve others, be dependent on someone else's expectations of me. And so I had kind of planned over the course of the last couple of years, just kind of putting things aside, being very intentional about building this, I guess, escape plan, right? I didn't know when it was going to happen. So this, to me, this opportunity, when they told us, listen, we're getting ready to move, this was it. I just knew it. That was it for me. That was my moment. I was going to do this, and I was going to give it everything that I had. So to circle back to what Lady April said, yeah, you have to have a plan. Okay, you might not know when you're going to execute it, but plan financially, be strategic. And for me, when the opportunity presented itself, I was ready to go.
Wow. We mirror some similar stories. I planned on, well, I'm much older than any of you ladies here, but I planned on working probably 2 more years. And I was just stuffing money away in my 401k like a mad hatter. So that thing of planning, it is important. It really, really is. Gemma, my dear Gemma, speak to us about your defining moment.
Well, I was 4 years working on a contract for this huge American corporate organization, but here in Europe. And I enjoyed very much the first 2 years with this company. And later on, I started having this call about maybe it was about time that I set up my own thing and did my own thing. And coaching came into my reality, and it felt like the right thing to do after what I was doing, because I was in training for a long time in change management, and coaching was kind of the logical step to do. So I started this coaching course here in Spain, And I was planning to finish the course and then leave the corporate, but it didn't happen that way. Halfway through my course, the contract ended, and I didn't get renewed. So I decided, okay, well, I'm just going to go for it. And instead of looking for another job, I've got savings, I'm just going to go for it. And that's how it started. And I was really excited to start with. But I saw myself as a coach. And it was just a year after that I realized, when things were really working out the way I thought it was going to be working out, that I wasn't a coach. The first thing I was a businesswoman. It took me a whole year to realize that. And then I realized that I was lacking business skills, and it was a huge mindset change. So 2 years down the line now, okay, I'm getting there. I'm still learning. And I'm looking forward to that day that like April said before, that she doesn't remember what it was like so many years down the line, what it was to be in the corporate.
Oh, wow. You said something very, very important and revealing. It's a huge mind shift to take on this. Man, I am the boss. I am an entrepreneur. I'm not punching a clock. I'm not going to the boardrooms anymore. It's completely different. Wow. I hope you all see, ladies and gentlemen, how we all pretty much plug in from each other and plug into each other as far as our paths go. April, you said, I can't remember. And girl, you said it was so much glee and joy until what I know, but you can't remember when, but I know that you must remember that defining moment when you said enough is enough.
I remember. I was working in multimedia projection and backup computer sales for a very prominent company. It was fabulous. So we were challenged by the CEO to make him $1 million by the end of the day. Oh, the sales team was on fire. Girl, we stuffed the channel with all of this product. We made the $1 million. We was popping champagne. He was passing out $100 bills. And then I went to work. That following Wednesday, he had a meeting, and he goes, well, you know what? That $1 million was great, but today's maximum is tomorrow's minimum. And baby, the light bulb came on. I was like, really? So number one, it put money in a different context because we made it like that. They print it every day. So the emotional attachment was removed from that. But the defining moment for me was that it's never good enough for you. So when is it going to be good enough for me? Or how can I make it good enough for me? Girl, I went home. I told Mr. Magnificent, I'm done. He said, okay. But I have always had a plan. I've always had a side hustle. And I mean that in the most loving way. Selling jewelry, if there's a cake sale. I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit because you got to have a backup plan. Little retail job, whatever. But you have to be able to have something, number one, to keep your sanity, to keep you fluid, to keep you mobile. You know, keep a little jing in your pocket, pay the cable bill, get you some gas, get you some cute shoes. But you need to offset that, you know. So again, I've gotten corporate checks, but to go in and get work a corporate job, no, I can't remember. And let me just say one other thing, if I may. You know, the word entrepreneur is a big $25 word. It looks fabulous, but there's a lot of responsibility that goes along with that. It is not to be taken lightly. An entrepreneur is on the grind 24/7, making the contacts, building the business, getting them to invest, getting the checks, paying the bills, hiring the employees, and then starting all over again. So to just step out there, you got to step out on more than faith, okay? You got to really be able to know and be prepared to do the work, get the contacts, network, share. Because again, that's what we're doing. You have to be abundant. You cannot be tight. You can't be stingy. I don't pay for this. I don't pay for that. Each one must teach one. So I want to share that with you because it is a journey and you have to be able to do that. But again, you got to have, you know, some revenue coming in, a sweet thing. You got to have something.
I'm glad that you spoke on that. And I'm Kenta, Gemma, you all want to chime in on that as far as your plan. once you left corporate, the plan that you had in place, or as you envisioned it, how have you had to modify it along this journey? And how have you felt making that modification? Anybody want to chime in on that?
I'll certainly chime in on that. You literally have to prioritize and reprioritize, and then reprioritize again. Okay, so just like April was saying, you have to remain fluid, right? You still have your set goals. You know what you have or what you brought, right, to this space of entrepreneurship. And then you know what you have to bring in, right? So for me, as an engineer, I ran multi-million-dollar supply chain planning organizations. So planning is it's at my core, I'm a planner. So I'm going to write things out. I have Excel spreadsheets. Excel's not for everybody, but that's the way I get down, right? So I have everything planned out. I know what I need to bring in. I have my side hustle, okay? I sell jewelry, all right? I know what I need to do, right? You see what I'm saying? So I know what I need to do to bring in that lane, right? To feed this lane, because this is the baby, right?
Gotcha.
So you just always have to be aware and be realistic. I think that's the main thing. Be realistic. You have to be realistic. It's great to have faith. You need to believe in something, and you certainly need to believe in yourself, but you have to have a plan, and you have to keep working and redefining that plan.
Right.
You ladies are on fire. I love that. This is the kind of information that people need. This is what they're looking for. Gemma, give us your take on it.
Well, I didn't have a plan to start with. I didn't have a plan because I saw myself as a coach. I didn't see myself as a businesswoman. So the moment I realized I was actually, I had a business and that was my priority, that was a shock that I didn't realize that at first. Then I started having a plan. Then I got a coach. I got my plan, and I got my bit on the side as well. So I also have my income from selling wellness products to feed that up. But I learned that the hard way. I didn't have anyone to tell me that. So this, what you're doing today, is great, so that people know, people like me who didn't know they were actually a business person or entrepreneur, know where to start and where to get help.
I think that that's necessary, and you're a good you're segueing us into the next question. How valuable is it to have a coach? What do you think? Necessary, not necessary? Give me your take on that. Talk to me about that, Gemma.
I think it's really important to have not only one coach, but as many as you can, and also a network of supporting people that really know what you're up to and support you in your vision, in what you want to achieve. At the moment, I have my business coach, I have a fitness coach, a coach, and a spiritual mentor. So all areas are covered. And I also know how to coach myself, because obviously I'm a coach, so I do self-coaching on myself. And it's great to keep your sanity and to keep yourself surrounded with positive people who support you when you're not feeling that well, or you need a bit of support mentally.
Yes, I agree. I immediately, coming from corporate, I immediately took on a coach, and that's the reason why the radio show was booming like it is, and we're moving into a couple of different products. So I'm with you on that. April, Kenta, talk to me. How do you ladies feel about taking a coach eventually or right away? Talk to me.
Okay, are you ready for this?
I put my seatbelt on, April. You already told me, girl, get ready.
All right, because everybody is not coachable.
Okay.
That's a word right there.
Okay, and you cannot coach if you are still a trainee. I'm just saying.
So you're saying that we have too many trainees out there, and they call themselves a coach? Yeah.
See, I need to see what I need exuding out of your pores. I need for you to be a stepping stone for me to go higher, to aspire to go higher, not stay where you are, but to exceed you, so that the next person, Gemma and Kenta, can walk on my shoulders. I want to be a bridge for you to walk someone else across. That's how we do it. So, to be a coach is a lot of responsibility. Now, me,
Yes.
I have an extremely successful podcast, On the Edge with April Mahoney. But with that, I am very careful about my brand. It's my baby. I nurture it. I just don't have anybody on it. And, when you're talking about coaching someone, I'm not going to take on the responsibility of long term.
Mm-hmm.
I got crash courses, okay? I'm going to spend a little time with you, come back and see me for some maintenance. But that long-term coaching, no. And again, like I said, if I don't see it exuding out of your pores, it's really hard for me to invest in you. That's not discrediting you. I need to see what I need to see. Your look, your image, and also I need a coach, but I have a brain. Use your own brain. Make a decision. If you feel that there's something that you need to do to add value to what you're doing, then go ahead and do that. The coach, the coaches kind of got you boxed in too. So again, mentors, look at what other successful people have done. Look at podcasts, look at Margot's show, look at go and the YouTube. It's out in the blatosphere. Everybody's doing it, and no information is original. It's just how you package it. It's how you layer it. It's how you deliver it to your audience. Oh, don't give me the preaching. What?
I hear what you're saying, April. I hear what you're saying. But on the other hand, I think that some people need that a little bit holding, especially out the gate. But I hear what you're saying, and there are too many. Now you hit on my soapbox. There are too many people who haven't been a coach maybe 1 minute, and they've thrown out the shingle and charging thousands of dollars. They look good, they sound good, but when you're right, it's an awesome responsibility. It's not something that I would want to do long term. Now, my coach, he's on for a whole year. Kudos to you. I'm glad that I know you, but I can't do that. I'm not even signing up for that. So I'm glad that you brought that out.
I don't diminish at all the value of a coach. Actually, I've had some of the greatest mentors and people. But as far as me actually ever paying someone to help me navigate and facilitate, I've never done personally. I've been very fortunate that I've had amazing women and men to really, teach me and mold me. I take it all in. You ladies are teaching me right now, so all of that's important, but I've never really had a coach before. So it would be a different experience for me.
Wow. And a successful podcast, 6 years running. That's saying something.
20,000 brains tuned in all over the world.
I love it.
Wow.
Hustle
Chime in with this thing of the value of a coach. Do you have a coach? Is there a value there? What do you say?
Absolutely. And so I want to answer this. I'm going to take off my coaching hat and speak from a person who has been coached. Okay. So I have several coaches, just like Gemma said. I have a media coach. I have a business coach, and then I have a personal coach. Okay. And probably several other coaches who don't even really know that they're my coaches. But I see value in it. And I think that we all do. But I love the fact that April said, which is so true, everybody is not coachable. Okay. Everybody is not coachable. And I think as a coach, you have to understand, put my coaching hat back on now. You have to understand who your people are. Just like as someone who needs to be coached, everybody's not my coach. I have to know what I need. I have to, like you said, I need to see it in you. I need to know, Miss Coach, Mr. Coach, that you can shift me and get me to that place that I need to get to, or that I'm longing to get to. Yeah. As someone who is looking for a coach, you have to know that. And then on the flip side, as a coach, you have to know who your people are. You can't coach everybody. You can't be all things to all men. That's where you burn out. That's where you lose like some of your brilliance and your genius. You have to stay in your lane, know who your people are, know what you bring to the table, and work that.
So when it's all said and done, let's not chase after the money. Let's go ahead and be what we really, really are. Let's stay authentic.
Absolutely. That is the key. Authenticity is the key. You can't chase, especially with coaching, you can't chase money.
No,
You absolutely can't chase me because you have people's lives are hanging in the balance.
exactly. A lot of liability.
It's a lot of liability. And like you said, it is a huge responsibility. You have to understand that and take that with all of the seriousness and all the sincerity that you can gather. Okay, this is not a game. People really want to shift. People really want to not be miserable. People really want to hit their goals. And if you sincerely and authentically and genuinely can help them, do so. If you think this is a game, go find another practice field. This is not a game.
Oh.
I love that.
And don't make you get a job. It's all right to just pick up a check. No
It
shame.
is.
Really.
It is.
Don't play with people like that.
No, don't play
No.
with people.
I think that we see way too much of that. That's why coaches take on such a bad name sometimes, because we see way too much of that. The charlatans, as I call them, and I can't stand it.
That's right.
Gosh. What do you ladies have to say about fear? How has fear motivated you, or how has fear driven you while you're on this journey of reinvention? Anybody want to pick that up? Gemma, I see something in your face.
Yeah, it's a close friend to everybody, I see, especially to coaches. We see it all the time. The way I deal with fear, I looked straight into his face, and I have coaches that can help, or I coach myself. But I feel that having love, unconditional love and compassion for yourself first is a must, and to just get you through the fear. And then look at it from all angles. I normally have conversations with my own mind, because fears are limitations that your mind put into you. You are made of love, and whatever is not love is made up from your mind. So I have conversations with my mind now, and I use everything I know, like the coaching, the NLP, to kind of turn it around, and I turn it around into possibilities. So after all the excuses, I tend to give myself excuses, and I can see people do that as well in my coaching practice. So then once you get to these excuses and you kind of deconstruct them, turn them into possibilities, and follow your heart once the fear has been transformed.
Wow. Look at it and transform it. Don't dodge it. Yeah. I got you. I've heard several people on the show approach fear that way. So Gemma, I think you're onto something. I really, really do. April, talk to me about this thing of fear.
The acronym FEAR, false evidence appearing real. But fear is a very real emotion.
Yes.
We have to also embrace it, because if we don't fear anything, then we're not going to appreciate the adverse effect of the reward. You don't have to feel pain, but if you never felt pain, you never know pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
So they are oxymorons, but again, you have to experience those. And Jenna, I am so with you. Girl, I talk to these board of directors in my head often. I check in. On my radio show, I call my listeners brains for a very specific reason, because they're smart people. And I want to deposit and edit and filter right into their cranium, the place where they recall their information. So that's where fear lies too. And it settles in your heart.
Yes.
So don't let it go as deep as your heart. It's inevitable. We have to have that, because that's a part of your boundaries. That's a part, if you didn't know that you'd be shocked on the other side, you keep sticking your something in the light socket. Mm-hmm. So again, you have to know that there is going to be a boundary. There's going to be a point. We cannot be fearless. We can aspire to do that, but then you're a risk taker. And that's what we all are. We've stepped out and taken a risk. So the fear, in my opinion, coincides with that. Now, you have to not be a prisoner to it, but understand that it is a part of the process.
Yes. And that's something that we often hear is if you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're going to be a coach, even if you're going to be an author, you have to get used to stepping out of that comfort zone. And that's an absolute fact. And it definitely, I know it's something that I have found, something that I always experience. And I have to laugh and say, man, I've done more things scared than I've done, you know, but you have to keep moving. You have to keep moving. So Kenta, let's hear from you.
Absolutely. I agree, and I'm aligned with everything that has been stated. I like that you call yours the board of directors in your head. I call it the lying committee in my head. Okay. So I am forever addressing the lying committee. Okay. I think that the one thing that we all need to do when it comes to fear is just be real about it. It's valid. Okay. Like you said, it's not going to show up. Right. It's going to show up. Just be prepared for it when it does. Talk to it. Sit with it. Right. Feel it. It's okay to feel it. Like you said, don't let it get to your heart though. Okay. Don't just sit with it and stay there. Sit with it. Be with it. Okay. What am I going to do about it? And move. You got to shift. You've got to learn how to shift. And it's different for different people. For some people, they have a person that can snatch them back. I intentionally have snatchers around me, okay, that can snatch me back to reality. Yes. And then I'm good. Right. I'm okay. And everybody can't snatch you in the same way. Yeah. I know exactly who I need to call. Got it. I'm good. And so then we keep moving. So I think that's the thing. A lot of people try to avoid it. And of course you want to avoid, you don't want to feel bad, but it's going to come. And that's natural. It's the way that you respond to it, right? Right. Sit with it and then move on.
The main thing is do not let it turn you around.
Absolutely
not let it stop you.
Stay frozen.
That's right.
Yes. April, you said something about staying frozen?
No, I said, and don't stay frozen.
Yes.
Out, yes. Talk out and work it out, because again, there's a very valuable lesson. The things that hurt us the most are our best teachers.
Oh yeah.
You just won't go there anymore, and it's okay. It's all right, but it's a part of the process.
That's right.
And people are waiting for us. We can't afford to stay frozen as leaders. And I know that, Gemma, I want you to speak to this next. As leaders, people are waiting for us. When we signed up to be an entrepreneur, an author, speaker, we said that we would step into a leadership role. So how does that, Gemma, how does that work out as far as our consciousness goes, our intentions, and moving forward? You care to speak to that?
Yeah, well, I realized that my purpose was to work on conscious leadership and bring it to the world. And then I was given this vision, it's just bigger than myself. And I don't know if I will see it during my lifetime, but I will leave it as my legacy, that everyone embraces conscious leadership. And to me, a conscious leader is someone who leads from the heart. So going back to the fear that we talked before, you don't get the fear to get to you, and you deal with it. And always leading from love and compassion. So when I was given this vision, I thought, well, why me? I didn't see myself as a leader. I've always been very, very timid. 2 years ago, I didn't even have a Facebook. I had a profile, but I didn't have a picture in it because I didn't like to be public. But then once you have a life purpose and a vision, such a big vision, you become unstoppable, and you just go for your fears and go for it. So last year I was all over the place. I wrote books. I became a public speaker. I learned how to speak in public. I just don't fear it anymore. And it was through one of those courses that I did to learn how to be a public speaker that I realized that in order to bring this vision to the world, I have to become the conscious leader that I am claiming about myself, and that gave me even more power to do it. So that's it. The leadership, conscious leadership, is deciding to be one and leading from the heart and leading consciously. So just taking responsibility for who you are, for your fears, and leading forward in spite of them, and be an example for other people.
Wow. And You know what? I wasn't sure how you were going to respond to that, but I think you opened up the doorway, this thing of leadership. You opened up the doorway for the April and for Kenta. I'd like to hear what you all have to say as far as how are you all walking out your journey as the leader that you are. Have you always been a leader? Have you become a leader that had to be molded and pivot to so that you can fill the shoes that you are in now? You ladies speak to that. Speak to that, please, because I want people to understand that once we begin this reinvention process, we are on the move inside and out. So,
But
April,
also,
Kenta.
it's not just inside and out. You're held accountable.
Mm.
You know, your feet are held to the fire. People are looking at you, the decisions you make. You have to walk in your truth. You know, you have to continuously do the work. You have to watch who's pouring into you, who's feeding off of you, what's blossoming and growing from that. Is it organic or full of pesticides? Really?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's, again, like I said, it's doing the work, it's the editing, it's the filtering. I love my show, but it is my baby. I've given birth to it. I've created a platform for others to shine, to identify with who they are, to tell their authentic self. But everybody ain't authentic.
No.
But if I know that if that's not authentic, that we can work with you. But I just come from a different angle because we all lend value, you know, and I've seen that as a leader. I'm gonna tell you a really quick story. I was interviewing and I like to ask this question. If you were an animal, what type of animal would you be? The woman came back at me and told me she'd be a snake. Oh, yes. And you know what? I hired her. And the reason why is when she explained is that she was smooth. She could go in and out. She'd take it. You know, sometimes you don't want to do the dirty work. Dirty work has to be done. I don't mean in a negative way, but, you know, breaking contracts, breaking deals, breaking appointments. Sometimes you need that. So when someone shows you who they really are, like Maya and Oprah, believe them.
Believe them.
But be able to strategically place them. You don't have to hate on them, discard them. Everyone brings value. And if leaders like 45 could see that, you know.
Uh-oh.
Girl, don't go there.
This is what leadership is about. It is
Yes.
facilitating the road for people to navigate.
That's it.
You know? That's just my perspective.
Yes.
That's it. 100%. I think for me, in terms of leadership, so one of the, I guess the best aspects of my 17-year career was people leadership. I love seeing people develop and hit their goals and be promoted and do the things that someone may have told them that they couldn't do before. Right. But just that pouring into people, I loved that aspect of being a senior manager or being in senior management in the corporate space. And so that was kind of a perfect segue into, into what I'm doing now, right, as a coach. But for me, I really feel like I'm just playing out what I did on the playground as a kid. Like I was always that kid that was bringing people together. Okay, we're going to work this out. Let me hear your side, and I'm going to hear your side. They used to call me the judge. In 3rd grade, they called me the judge, okay? So I've always kind of had these seeds planted and being watered throughout my life. And so now I count it as an honor and a privilege to be able to do what the little girl has always done down through the years, right? Serve people, serve them genuinely, and serve them authentically. But to April's point, when you're leading people in whatever capacity, you have to be able to see the value that they bring. You can't just write people off because of one incident or because of 2 incidents or because of 3 incidents, right? Everyone brings something to the table, okay? And as good leaders, like you said, good leaders, okay, can identify that and they can cultivate it. And a good leader can make you believe, okay, what you've never, ever believed before, okay? A good leader can do that for you. And good leadership brings those qualities out of you.
Mm, mm, mm. That is so true. And in corporate, we need to cultivate more of that. So now that you all are doing your thing so brilliantly, now it's no wonder that people will want to reach out to you. April, people will want to be on your show. Definitely tune in. Kenta, help transform people. Girl, you just oozing with excitement and the love of this thing. And Gemma, you just laid back, but girl, you so confident and so cool, and you are so smooth about what you're doing. You know, this is the leadership that I see in you ladies, and it's just thrilling.
Right.
Wow, the time has gone by so quickly. At half point, I was going to tell everybody, well, you know what? The 30-minute conversation is going to go on for an hour, and I was going to go ahead and tell everybody why we're hanging on for an hour. But the conversation has just, I see. I knew I had to hook up with you ladies. You all have poured into the male and the female who is ready to come out of corporate. If I can recap it a little bit, I heard everyone pretty much say you need a plan,
Mhm.
and it sure doesn't hurt to stash some money away.
That's right.
April, you're telling us, honey, don't leave that job without having a hustle, have something else. And even after you do, you had better have something else going on. Because the reality of it is that people are telling us that, oh, you're going to hit six figures in the first year, the second year. Oh, you're going to hit six figures in 6 months. And people are falling for that. And
Yeah.
it's so not true. Let's debunk that. Let's kick that one out real quick. As April said, a lot of responsibility to be an entrepreneur, and the money just does not roll right away. So you better have something else going. I see everybody's head going.
That's right.
These are the truths that I want people to know. But ladies,
Absolutely.
my final question before I ask everyone how they can get in contact with you, starting with April. What is the biggest thrill of being an entrepreneur, doing your own thing, and what makes you say, I do it again in a heartbeat?
Being an influencer, being a conduit, being fluid, being a way for people to connect and to stay connected and, learning from them. I'm ever evolving. So it's just not about me. It's not just about the money. It's not about freedom, because it's not just about freedom. I love the freedom and flexibility, but I want to be a change agent.
Mhm.
I did this. I don't want to transform you because, in my opinion, everybody might not want to be transformed where you came from or where you're going to.
Mhm.
But I want to be a positive influencer. I want to provide you with value. I want to deposit into your brain. And that's the biggest joy. I went and spoke to a group of gentlemen yesterday, 50 men that are drug and alcohol or just being released from incarceration. And they didn't even identify with who they were. Yeah, it was from another scene, But when I left there, I cried like a baby. I cried like a baby. That is what is important to me. The money will come.
Mhm.
They print money every day. Okay, so don't get it twisted. Okay, but it's your heart. And if your truest intention radiates from what you're doing, you're already rich. You're
Yes.
already rich.
That's good.
Thank you for, oh gosh, yes. Kenta, you're on the screen here. Just go ahead and keep that conversation going. Gosh.
For me, it is being available to be able to serve whoever needs to be served at any point in time, without having to worry about the responsibility that someone else is putting on me. So I don't have to do this report and try to fit in a conversation with you. I'm available. Okay. Just the fact that I can be available to be who I am in the universe, in this space. Okay. For others, for my family, for myself, it's just fulfilling to know that I don't have to be bound by the restrictions of someone else, that I can wake up and serve in this space in whatever capacity is needed for the day. Okay. I can be fluid, right? If I want to wake up today and I'm listen, this is program that's on my heart
Right.
that I need to get out for the people. I don't have to worry about meetings or trying to duck and dodge and do it without someone. I'm free to do it.
Yes.
And so that is the most amazing aspect of this. And like April said, the money will come. When you set your intention at the appropriate level, everything else has to fall into alignment. That is just the way it works. Okay? That is just the way it works. The energy and everything is going to flow. But you've got to hit that right intention. And you have to hit it with purity and be genuine as possible.
Yeah.
Okay? And everything else will flow.
Yes.
Everything else will flow. So that is the biggest aspect for me. That freedom to be available. Not just to be free, but freedom to be available.
Available. Powerful nuggets, ladies and gentlemen. Gemma, round us out, please.
Oh, that was awesome. And I totally agree. It's just the freedom of, first of all, following your purpose if you have one, or to find it if you really want to find it, like most people do. And secondly, the freedom of being your authentic self. How many times I've been told, oh, you can't talk about love in the corporate environment. You can talk about spirituality. It's like a no. And now it's all I talk about, because that's who I am. I'm all about consciousness, and that's what I'm passionate about. And that's it. So it's the freedom of being your true authentic self and follow your vision and your purpose.
I love it. I love it. Gemma Ramirez, please tell people how they can get in contact with you, lady.
Thank you. Pleasure. Well, my main website is gemmaramirez.com. I'm on Facebook. It's gemma.ramirez1. And I have the Consciousness Academy group, or the website, consciousnessacademy.global. And the latest project, the woman5.0.com, which will be up online very shortly.
All right. I'll be sure to have those links available to people also. Wow. Kenta C. Turner, tell everybody how they can get in contact with you.
Yes, so my main website is kcarlitaturner.com. That's KCARLITATURNER.com. I can be found on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at kcarlitaturner.
All right. And definitely not last, April Mahoney, how do we get in contact with you? Definitely Blog Talk Radio. We're going to tune in. And I already have, because I always advocate that people take a listen to my show before they even come on, just to make sure that we have the right vibe and the right energy and stuff. And Miss April, you're a bad sister.
Thank you. I am on Blog Talk Radio, On the Edge with April Mahoney. That is the place where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. I would love to have both of you ladies visit me. Margot, you're coming into town. And again, it's a place where I really encourage people to want better, to do better, and ultimately be better. Yes. Embrace the fear. We are a continuous work in progress. Mm-hmm. We talk about everything from soup to nuts on the show. So we brush it with a broad stroke. But again, we're speaking directly to brains because we're all smart people.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was the intention for today, to speak to people's brains, because so many of us want to throw out the shingle and say that I am a author, speaker, or entrepreneur. Some people just don't do anything, and they're sitting on all of these talents, and the world is waiting for them. So I wanted to bring April Mahoney, Kenta Turner, and Gemma Ramirez to you all so that you can understand that we all left corporate, but man, oh man, life is so good now. With the ups and the downs, the yes. challenges, we are moving forward and we are available to you. So if it's okay with you ladies, I would like to check back. We're in the first quarter of 2018. I'd like to check back and have another conversation before the year is out, because things happen so rapidly and so fast, and they're ever changing. So we're going to have to visit this conversation again. I can't wait. I am
Yes.
so full. You ladies, I tell you, I knew it was going to be on. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
I'm excited.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
we could be authentic. And you know what? We have almost gone an hour, and I ain't no ways tired. Thank you,
No.
ladies. Thank
Absolutely.
Oh,
This
see,
was a
now
pleasure.
This is
A
what.
pleasure indeed.
Oh, I'm so glad. This is what good conversation, transparent conversation does.
Yes.
It causes all of us to grow, and it empowers us. And oh my God, okay, I'm get off the soapbox, Margot. It's time to say until next week. This is Margot Levette from Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation, and I will be back next week with a brand new episode. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank
Bye
you,
bye.
Marco.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you.
Yes.
HurricaneRadio.com, certified #1 digital talk radio station in the world. The power of women.